Hi everyone, I hope everybody's doing well today. Well, if you've seen my past sketchbook tour videos, I've often mentioned that I have trouble drawing circles in perspective. So for today's video, I'm going to show you an exercise that was introduced to me about 30 years ago as a university student. I didn't take it too seriously back then, but I'm coming around to it right now. It's basically this. This particular sample is 6 inches by 6 inches, and it's basically a circle drawn with a bunch of straight guidelines around it. So from this, you could probably tell how to make it yourself, but I'm going to quickly go over it and show you how I do it. So let's get into it. Okay, so this is what you're going to need. You're going to need a ruler, pencil, Sharpie marker, compass, X-Acto knife, and in this case I had some mat board lying around, so I'm using a mat board. But if you don't have mat board at home, you could use some cardboard from a box that you're about to throw out, or if you have some masonite, you could use that, as long as it doesn't flop over and you could sort of hold it and it keeps its rigidity. So I use the X-Acto knife obviously to cut out the 6 by 6 inch square mat board. I wouldn't go any smaller than 6 by 6 inches because you want something that you could clearly see at a distance. And for me, I feel going smaller than that sort of blurs the lines and the angles, and it makes it a bit more difficult for me to see. So 6 by 6 inches is the minimum I'd like to go. So to begin with, I'm going to find the center point of the square by drawing diagonal lines from corner to corner using my ruler and pencil. So where the two lines meet up, that's the center point. I'm going to use my compass on that center point. Just go right to the edge of the cardboard, draw my circle. So now I have a 6-inch diameter circle. I'm going to draw a few more guidelines. So it's 6 by 6 inches, so I know halfway is 3 inches. I'm going to mark off 3 inches, so it should line up with that middle point there. Right there. Right there. Perfect. There. There. Perfect. So I could even further break this down to more guidelines by going into each quarter and drawing lines that meet up with these lines that run midway through the cardboard. There. 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 And there. So I think I have enough guidelines right now. I wouldn't break down the square anymore. So now I'm going to use my Sharpie to darken up those guidelines. I'm going to freehand it, but I just want to darken the edges like that. On the outside, make it just a bit thicker. You don't have to be too neat about this whole thing. All you need are some guidelines, dark guidelines to show you exactly the outline of the square. So I'm going to freehand these other diagonal lines. So these are all guidelines that you're going to use eventually to help you draw that circle in perspective. And last but not least, darkening up the circle. Okay, there you have it. That is the circle template that you'll use to create this exercise to help you improve circles, drawing circles in perspective. So let's put it into action now. Okay, so let's put this circle template into practice. The reason why you want it on something a bit rigid is because you have the ability to place it in any position. You could, for example, lean it up against an object like that to get a very severe angle and draw it from that point. Or you could simulate, for example, I have a container there, and if you're not too sure about drawing that top rim of that circle, you could place it like there and just pretend that that is a gigantic rim of that container, and you're going to practice it that way. So you need something rigid that could sort of lean up against things. You could if you have some kind of holder, you could hold it like that and then draw that circle in a severe angle. And it wouldn't matter because you have your guidelines. You have the outline of that square to guide you in drawing that circle. So let's draw it. I'm going to lean it like this. It's a fairly severe angle. Not that severe, but all the guidelines are clear. All the bounding box is clear with that black marker around it. So let's get to it. Okay, so let's get started. Like I said, we're going to start with the bounding box, something large, and going to something small. So let's start that. So once I have the bounding box, it's pretty easy to draw the internal lines and guidelines because it's just about, at that point, connecting the points. So from this corner, you know, there's a line to that corner. So let's do that. And then the midpoint's right here. You're going to draw a midpoint line right there. There's another midline point right about there. Let's make sure it's at the right angle. Something like that. And you know that there are smaller diagonal lines in each quarter, so we could just connect the points there. Connect the points there. There. And there. So I've penciled in all my guidelines. Now it's just about drawing those small curves in each of the smaller segments to make your circle. So it starts here, it goes to midpoint here, and then I'm going to draw this arc over here. So if you think about it, it's a lot easier to draw smaller curves than just draw the entire circle in one go. And that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, there's the circle. Now just darken it with my Sharpie marker. There we go. A circle in perspective. How easy was that? So if you think about it, if you incorporate this exercise, and I'm going to try to incorporate this exercise into my art practice, if you do it on a regular basis from week to week, month to month, hopefully, and I'm pretty sure it'll happen, you won't have to draw those internal reference lines. You'll just draw that bounding box and then draw the circle because you know innately where those reference points are. And eventually, you won't even need that bounding box. You'll just sort of like go at it. You'll draw that circle in perspective. So I hope that helped. I hope you use it in your own art practice. Tell me how it goes. Tell me if it's useful for you. Tell me if it isn't. Tell me if I'm talking out of my ass. Anyways, thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.